As we cruised down the old river section of what I believe is the Bayou St. John in Perdido Key, we kept seeing impressions in the sand. Thousands of them, in fact. Some were small, some were medium-sized, and others were massive. My mentor and friend, Lonnie Jones, had asked me to accompany him on a bow fishing excursion one night as we were staying in Orange Beach for a counseling conference. We had the hopes of shooting a few stingrays, flounder, mullets, and maybe a shark. The night and experience was amazing. We shot a stingray or two and shot a blue crab. It wasn't the most productive bow fishing night I've ever been on, but any night on the water with a bow in my hand is a good night. And a night where I get to shoot at some creatures I've never gotten to shoot at before is special. And then getting to enjoy being on the boat with a man who has served as a mentor and a friend for many years is just icing on a cake. We had a blast, and have continued to have a blast this week, and hope that it won't be the last time. One of the cool things that hunting stingrays is that you can see where they've been. There were thousands of impressions in the sand where various sized stingrays had made their bed. The beds looked like craters on the surface of the moon. For some reason, the rays had gone to the deep water before we got there, but it was intriguing to see the impressions they had made. Some were small impressions, like the size of a small plate. Others were the size of large tires. Impressions of the past, a mark left for others to see. It's been about 16 months since my dad said goodbye to his earthly body. He's been tormented the last few years with Lewy body dementia. It changed his mind and it changed his personality at times. But the impressions he had made before his illness and passing made a lasting impact. Not a day goes by that I don't think of something he said or did, or on many occasions I find myself wanting to call him to share a story or talk about some of the latest sporting events I've watched. Impressions of the past that aren't soon forgotten. I run into people often who speak of Dad and the man that he was. They tell me stories about work and church and family. He served as an elder for quite some time. He led singing and enjoyed going to the circuit singings at the churches in the county. He loved the company he worked for and the men and the women that he was around for 35 years or so. And everywhere he went, he seemed to make an impression. I could brag about a lot of the things that he did, but I realize you have people in your own mind who've made impressions in your life and the lives of so many others. And the thing about impressions, the ones made by the way we live our lives and not just the stingrays in the sand, is that those impressions outlive us. Now, I recognize that most of us won't be remembered past a couple of generations, but to the generations that remember us, we will have made an impression that may be passed on to many more generations. For instance, our faith, our commitments, our loyalty to family and friends, our legacy as leaders or encouragers or mentors. Impressions of the past will be left at some time in your future. What will those people say about the way you lived out your life? So I challenge you to dig deep and leave some impressions worth following. Wouldn't it be great if long after you're gone, people are still thinking and smiling about the impressions that you made? And that is your Friday refresh.